Josh Amos. I'd like to take about 10 to 15 minutes of your time today to talk a little bit about the education that kids actually get from video games and all the bad names and everything that comes up along with video games. This presentation is actually going to talk about how many feel about video games and they think that it's bad and kids actually don't learn anything from these video games. However, this is actually not going to be true, and it's been proven to help kids learn faster when using these video games. I mean, sure, there are different games that might not teach any education and might be bad for your kids, but those are definitely the games that you're going to steer away from and look towards more like the learning and educational games. There was actually a recent study that was done by U.S. Congress, and it was to see if video games can help improve, see if they can help improve literacy skills and everything like that comes along with kids. And it's been proven, and with the strong parental and teacher involvement, that you will gain a bunch of strong skills from these video games. This study was basically focused on children from the ages of 4 to 5, and it showed that there was an increase in both sounds association and also understanding basic concepts. They also proved that there was also a little bit of the letter recognition that was done with this. See, now we'll talk a little bit more about these games. Many people do not realize what video games teach and actually offer our kids. Personally, I was skeptical about this, and I really didn't think that video games had that much to offer. I ended up buying a tablet for my daughter, who was about 2 years old at the time, when I got her for her. And she began learning all kinds of her shapes and her letters. It took her a little bit of time to learn how to do the tablet, but after a couple of weeks, she had advanced so much with shapes, letters, numbers, it was amazing to me. I never thought that it was actually going to work, but it actually worked, and then by the next thing I knew it, she was actually telling me her ABCs and telling me which shape was which. Video games have also been proven to help in a few different other aspects. According to Cheryl Olson, there are quite a few different things that help the kids. Their video games can help teach problem-solving skills and creativity. Many people don't understand what they mean by that, but if you think about it, if you play a video game like Zelda, or it's a role-playing game, it's going to take a lot of creativity to actually build your character. You can choose the designs that your character looks like and everything like that. And then also it's going to take a lot of skill when you get involved in going through all the different mazes and all the different dungeons and stuff like that to find keys. This is actually going to help your kids build strategy and longer in life. Also, she said that video games can also inspire interest in culture and even history. And if you think about this one, it does make sense because there are quite a few games out there that may take place back at different times and different ages. And a lot of times kids get into these games and it makes them actually, want to go research this and look at the history in it because it's something that they're really interested in. And when you get them to do that, you're already getting them to start learning because they're picking up books and they're learning about what's happened in the past and a little bit about our history. So that's also going to help them out. This is also going to help them understand the culture that's happening in those ages compared to what's happening now and how much times have changed. Another thing that video games are going to help kids with is making friends. This is a huge thing. Kids use games as a social activity. A lot of times whenever you're growing up, many of us, we had sleepovers with our friends. Friends would come over and we'd sit around and we'd play these games for hours. Maybe it wasn't the greatest thing to do, but at the same time it's also teaching us personal and people skills because we're talking to these kids and it's something that we enjoy with them, so it's easier for us to break the ice and it's easier for us to conversate about these kinds of things. And this is also going to help them when they come to school because it helps them make friends. Maybe they're all interested in the type of video game, and that video game might be something that a few other kids are interested in, and then they all get together and they just start talking about these games and communicating with each other. This is also going to happen now because a lot of video games take place online. And since a lot of these online games will allow you to talk to kids from other states, other countries, and get to know other people from what it's actually worth, and this helps kids a lot learning to be around other kids. This is also going to remind me of whenever I was a kid, we used to sit around and play these games like I said, and we ended up outside most of the time after we get done playing these video games because we'd be playing like a sports game. You pick up a sports game, odds are after you play it long enough, you and your friends are going to want to go outside and actually try to do that sport. Maybe you picked up a couple moves off the video game that maybe you want to go out and try with your friends in a basketball game outside, or maybe some football. And then if you think about it, if we're doing that, then actually the video games are going to be encouraging exercise. According to Cheryl Olson, a recent study has shown that kids learn a lot of their moves on their video games, and it influences them to go out and try them on basketball court or even on skateboards. Research has also been proven that playing realistic sports games lead to an increased time playing sports and exercising in real life. Going along with these sports and all that stuff, it also teaches kids about competition. Competition is something that kids are also going to grow up with a lot in life. You're always going to be competing to be something. It's just the way that it's going to be. This is also going to help them understand that being first isn't always the best, and how to take these kinds of things, which is going to be great to teach them how to be a good sport as they get older and they enjoy playing sports. This is also going to help kids get a chance to excel. You know, some kids might not be as good at sports as other kids, so playing video games might be something that they're really good at. So this gives them a chance to excel over the kids who are good at sports, because the kids who are good at sports are now asking them tips on how to play this video game. This is also going to help them communicate with other kids that maybe in the long run they wouldn't have communicated with, you know? A lot of people that are into sports don't communicate too much with people that are not in sports. These video games will completely help them collaborate and work together and maybe develop a friendship. Something else that is great is it teaches kids to become a leader. Becoming a leader is something that kids also need to get skills in, and teaching them these skills at an early age is going to help them in the long run as they get older. This teaches kids how to also take turns and maybe become better with others in certain parts of the game. Video games also give kids a chance to teach sometimes. If you think about it, sometimes kids get stuck in video games and they'll hand the controller to their friend and say, hey, you know, can you get me past this level, or can you handle this for me? That right there is teaching them how to be a leader. And that's also teaching them that they can also look at each other and another person could teach one another in the long run. This also helps build their teaching skills, so as they get older, maybe this could also be something that they're good at and that maybe they enjoy. The last point about video games is that it can help bring kids and parents together. This is always a great thing. Interest in video games allows parents and kids to spend a lot of time together playing these games. I know personally, me and my daughter have a couple different games that we play, and every time we play the Lego game, it's like the greatest thing in the world to her. It brings her right to me, she sits with me, and we just play these games for hours, and it's the greatest thing, and it gives us a lot of time to spend together that we might not have during the day when we're always busy and seeing each other not as often. Every time she asks me to play, I tell her that it's okay to play. She instantly just runs, gets the game, and it's like the greatest thing in the world for her. So as parents, this is also something that you might want to look at, because anytime we get to spend with our kid is always a great time. Now, that kind of sums up the presentation for you. I'm going to ask you, you know, maybe that you understand how the video games can help kids in today's world, and why not give it a try? I mean, video games do get a bad name, but like I said in the beginning, certain games may not be great for your kids, but certain games are also going to be educational. This is going to help them along the lines, and today is basically going to be mostly a virtual world anyways, so people are always going to be on some sort of digital machine, and with all the things that we talked about, it could also help maybe your child succeed in learning these numbers, learning these shapes, and learn all the alphabet faster. And that's always a great thing for us. The faster they get advanced, the better off that we are. Maybe you can go a little bit further and faster because of the games that we've introduced them to.